Hello everybody and welcome to our Fleurs education. In this one I'm going to be showing you how to build the eucalyptus, which is from our Eternal Blossom collection. So these are the dies. So this is the board. This is how many dies you're actually getting within this die set to create all of your fabulous eucalyptus. Now, using crepe paper, again, there's lots of different mediums you can use. You can use all your other papers that you've got. You can even use pattern papers if that's what you wanted. But for this instance, we're actually using our crepe paper. So we've got lots of cuts here. So when you actually look at a piece of eucalyptus, it's one long stem. It's usually one long stem. And then there's lots of these little, almost like figure of eights on there as leaves, and that's what we're going to be building. So I'm going to pop that to one side. I've already gone ahead and cut some of these out, and I've used my crepe paper. Now I've got my wire, because you're going to need a wire, you're going to need your actual cuts. I've got a little bit of floristry tape, and also I have got my wet glue and some ink just to finish them all off, just to add that little bit more realism to them. Okay, now when you cut these out, you can see one of the important things is that I've cut them out with the grain. So the grain, the die is running vertically, and I place the die on as if it was a figure eight, okay, like so. Then I've run it through my machine and cut them all out. So there's lots of different ones here. So we've got bigger ones and smaller ones. Okay, so when you would look at a piece of eucalyptus, the smaller ones are going to be near the new buds, and then we've got the larger ones near the base. But first of all, before I do anything, I'm going to wrap the wire, okay, because we can't wrap it afterwards once we've actually popped all of these elements on. So that's one of the first things to do, is actually wrap the wire. Now these are paper wires. You can get all of these items to actually do this on our Highlight Crafts website. And all I'm going to do is just going to go all the way down. Now when you're using floristry tape, you stretch it and it's got a wax coating. By stretching it, it activates that wax and makes it sticky. So all the way down this particular wire, because when you're working with your eucalyptus pieces, you actually want quite long lengths, okay? These are going to add height and structure, almost like an architectural piece when you're making things with this, because of how much height you can actually get. Okay, so that's my wire wrapped, and I sit that to one side. The next thing I want to do is bring in my foam mat, and I'm going to use a pokey tool. And what I'm going to do is just put a little hole in the centre of that figure of eight. Okay, put my glasses on, and I'm just going to go ahead and choose different sizes, going down in size or going up in size in this instance. And I'm going to keep them in the order that I'm actually doing these. That way that when I actually just pick them up to build my eucalyptus, I can. And for my medium to actually put these onto the wire itself, I have chosen to use wet glue. Okay, so I'm just using Pinflair bookbinding glue. So those few elements are for my next one. Now what the first thing I need to do is, this is going on at the top. So this is the bud. This is where the smallest of the elements is going to be. So this is the new shoot as it's actually growing. So I'm going to pop a little bit of glue across there, like so. And then I'm going to fold it against the wire and just hold that in place. And we're going to do the same for all the other pieces. So I'm going to leave that where it is, and I've just left a little bit of wire on the end, can you see, extra. So that now is the bud growing. That's the rest of the stalk actually growing. So we're now going to go from the bottom, slide this up, and I leave a gap, and these gaps are entirely up to you because Mother Nature is not regimented. Okay, And then I'm just going to squeeze that like so it's glued in place. Just let it take. And again, next one, slide that onto the wire. So it's such a simple actual foliage to make is the eucalyptus. Just add a little bit of time, a little bit of patience to actually do this piece by popping them on one at a time. But they are super effective. It grows very quickly. So by the time, if you've got all these cut and you've got all your little holes pierced and you're all ready to go, you've got your wires wrapped, they're actually quite quick to build. So on this one, I'm just going to leave a little bit bigger gap. Okay, so these can be smaller, you know, just change the distances that you're actually, because it gives it a really nice natural look. So then this one goes on again, a little bit bigger gap, because we're now getting to the older shoots further down. And adding them onto the wire gives us so much versatility, because we can now manipulate these and shape them. So the last two pieces, and you don't have to do as many as I've done. If you're doing a smaller one, maybe you're putting these on a card. Just do 3 or 4 at the top. Do a small one, a medium one, a large one. So you can actually just tuck them in and glue them to the front of a card, because we don't always want to be making home decor pieces. It could be, like I say, for a birthday card or something like that. So I'm just going to let that sit for a second. So that are all the leaves actually on that wire, like so. And then how I work is I have a piece of polystyrene. Now it's only packaging and it can be from anything. Maybe you've had a washing machine or a new TV or something. That internal packaging, keeping it safe. I just have a little block of polystyrene. I push that into there like so, making sure it's nice and firm, and then I can do the next little bit. So these still down here are still going to be a little bit wet, but all we're going to do is just open up our leaves. We're just going to give them a little pull. Okay, let me turn that around so you can see. Just give them a little tug each side. Be careful with some of them, because obviously these lower down, I've only just put these on, so these are quite wet. So I'm going to leave them to set a little bit, and then we'll do the other side. So it really couldn't be any easier. And as I keep saying about the crepe paper, in this instance, again, the crepe paper is doing all the work for us. Now, I know sometimes the eucalyptus is that lovely tealy blue, but you don't have to use the tealy blue. You can use your other greens, etc. And then to finish this off, if you wanted to, is you then, that's the one I'm looking for. I'm going to take that out from there, and then you just add a little bit of colour to the leaves wherever you want them. Okay, it could be on the edges, or do these before you actually build. It depends on what kind of effect you're going for. And remember, I've done before on some of them a bleaching effect. The bleach effect will work really well because we're using the greens. It would give you like a variegated effect. Okay, so a little bit of ink on all of these, and then once you've inked them all and they're all dry and you've actually shaped them, again, that one's still a little bit wet, you just bend them round. If you're putting this on a wreath, it's then so easy to actually manipulate them. Or you may have got them on something that is going to hang like so. Okay, so then there's lots of ways of using these. So these are super easy, very quick to build once you get into the routine and you just actually build in the stems, but very versatile. and they're going to create some lovely architecture to your projects. So that is how you build our Fleurs eucalyptus. Bye.
If you want to see more from Highlight Crafts, make sure you click the like button, subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below, and click the bell icon to receive notifications of all of our future content. You can also click here to see our latest video, or click here to see more videos like this one.